Does MK-677, also known as Ibutamoren, make you stronger? Well, let's talk about it because WADA banned it. Okay, that could be a good sign. Athletes know why, but here's the truth. The World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, it bans at all times, on season, off season, not just during competition, but at all times. That's the same classification they have used for synthetic testosterone and human growth hormone. And the reason they banned it as one of the most discussed compounds in longevity medicine is because it works. So I'm Regan Archibald, founder of Ageless Future. We're the world leader in longevity medicine. We work with people all over the United States, only work with 503A compounding pharmacies. We don't use research use only. We run your blood labs. It's a scientific, evidence-based approach, and peptides get sent right to your door. So no matter where you are, we can help you out. Just go to agelessfuture.com. So let's talk about Ibutamoren, or MK-677. It's a ghrelin mimetic. So ghrelin, yes, it's going to make you hungry. So make sure you got your appetite on lock because it can wake you up in the middle of the night and you're going to be ravenous. But it does cause your hypothalamus gland, your brain, to produce more growth hormone. And so let's look at the clinical data because Merck actually made this peptide over a decade ago, and they used it for elderly patients who had a declining growth hormone and they had signs of frailty. They also had sarcopenia. That's where you lose muscle and start gaining fat. And so after 30, you lose about 1% of your growth hormone output every single year. And when we look at IGF-1 levels in your labs, this is one of the most important markers because you can be 40, but you feel like you're 60 because you're not producing growth hormone. After 40, one thing that happens is growth hormone secretion starts declining by approximately 14 to 15% per decade. And in your 60s, most of you have about a third of growth hormone output that you had at your peak. Now, one of our goals is for you to not just optimize your health, but also get to a new peak performance. Now, one of my clients, love you to death, Rob, he had just turned 60 and the dude is stacked. He can lift as much weight as he could when he was playing Major League Baseball. Now, that's pretty impressive because most people at 60, they have this condition called sarcopenia. I mentioned it earlier, but it's where you start losing progressively lean muscle mass and it gets replaced by these brittle blood vessels. You have fat that replaces it. You have a loss of bone mineral density. You have slower wound healing, reduced recovery from exercise, lack of motivation, less time in deep sleep, lower energy. And for millions of people, this isn't aging gracefully. This is a clinical decline in anabolic signaling that leaves you feeling weaker, softer, more fragile every single year with no intervention offered by conventional medicine besides, I need you to exercise more and eat better and take this cholesterol medication. So if you think of the hormonal environment, that's like telling someone to push harder on the engine that's running out of fuel. It doesn't make sense. So if you take a look at the clinical evidence, does MK-677 really work? Well, I can tell you in older adults, they watched them over 12 months. Researchers, they measured this isokinetic muscle strength. They looked at thigh muscle volume, cross-sectional areas on the MRI. They did timed walks. They did stair climbs, chair rise performance, and fat-free mass. Now, the results confirmed that the growth hormone physiology would predict is that MK-677 increased IGF-1 levels significantly and increased fat-free mass and showed improvements in functional performance metrics. The 2026 analysis published in Science Direct further confirmed MK-677's anabolic profile. They found that MK-677 increases both growth hormone and IGF-1 levels, leading to measurable reductions in body fat, increases in muscle strength and mass. The compound is not selective in signaling. It raises growth hormone broadly. But remember, it works on the ghrelin pathway, which means you're going to get hungry. But a lot of you need some hunger back because you've overdosed on tirzepatide or semaglutide. But the reason why WADA bans it, they place it it specifically in the S2.4 growth releasing factors category, it means it's banned at all time, is because it does work. You'll recover faster, which is one reason I don't understand why like BPC, thymosin beta-4, these are recovery peptides, even ARA290 working on that erythropoietin pathway. All athletes should be on peptides. They're naturally expressed in the body. Now, MK-677 is not technically a peptide. It's a small molecule, but it does fit in that performance enhancement category. So what about the danger, the risks? Well, one clinical trial with MK-677 was stopped early due to heart failure concerns in a subset of participants. This heart failure, these patients were older, and so some of them did have a risk profile when they entered the study. MK-677, it does raise your blood glucose, and it can raise insulin sensitivity meaningfully. And that means like if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic or you have insulin resistance, you need close medical monitoring. Now, don't just go and buy MK-677 online at some kind of rogue website. If you can get your hands on this at a research use only laboratory, it may not be the real thing and it may do more harm than good. Only work with your doctor on this or go to agelessfuture.com, and our medical providers only write prescriptions through 503 licensed pharmacies. Or yes, there's a pharmacist who's looking at these and compounding these structures. So the other thing MK-677 it can cause water retention. It can cause morning grogginess when you take higher doses. Once again, you're getting deeper sleep. And so these are not hypothetical. These are documented and clinically relevant to your own health. Most people in the studies are using 10 to 25 milligrams daily. You cycle it, 8 to 12 weeks, but make sure that you're monitoring throughout the whole process. And once again, work with your doctor. This is not me giving you medical advice. This is just me helping you figure out ways that you can help your body be at its optimal and peak performance. And we call this the ageless axis. We want to give you things that help your brain, your muscle, and your heart. And MK-677 can do this. Remember, it's a ghrelin mimetic, so it mimics the ghrelin signal in your hypothalamus, essentially telling your body it's in a state of growth readiness. You remember when you were a kid how hungry you would get? Well, that's what MK-677 is doing. It's triggering that hunger. And the result is when you take it is you get this pulsatile release of growth hormone from the pituitary. Now, the reason why pulsatile releases of growth hormone are really important is because you've got mTOR and you've got AMPK. You do not want to have growth hormone going all the time. And so MK-677, you want to be on it temporarily and then pull yourself off. 5 days on, 2 days off. CJC 1295, another phenomenal growth hormone. It's just giving your pituitary and your hypothalamus just a little pulse of it. But when you're using human growth hormone or HGH, you're actually overstimulating that receptor. And if you're not cycling these peptides, not just these MK-677, but many others, what you're going to have is this receptor desensitization. And when you don't have the sensitivity in the receptors, you're not going to get the same pulse. And you may have more side effects. And so look at your IGF-1 levels. You'll notice when you go off cycle, your IGF-1 may come down. And this is a good time to promote what's called autophagy. Clear out those old cells, exercise more, lift weights. Only use these on the days you're lifting weights. The days that are your recovery days, there's other peptides. I like using MOD-SC, for example. I also like 5-amino-1-MQ, thymosin beta-4, BPC-157. These are all great to help prevent that anabolic cliff. So remember, if you're not recovering, you're not going to get these great ability to continually improve your health. So as you start digging in and you say, well, is this right for me? Well, I can tell you the only way you can know is look at these 4 biomarkers. And this is like, you want to run close to 100 different biomarkers. Go to agelessfuture.com. We'll help you get your blood labs done. But you want to look at your IGF-1 levels before you ever start on any kind of growth hormone releasing peptide. You want to look at your fasting insulin, your hemoglobin A1C, your C-peptide. These are all critical markers that allow you to know if you're doing this safely. And so at Ageless Future, everyone starts by getting a comprehensive blood labs ran. We take it through the functional medicine framework and help you determine if MK-677 and other peptides are the right tool for you. We give you the right dose and run it only through a 503A compounding pharmacy. Just go to agelessfuture.com. For those of you who love the channel, make sure you leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next video.